Very good day, viewers. Welcome to Eco Heroes, the special podcast series of Aaranyak. I am your host, Bijay Sankar Bora. Today, World Aquatic Animal Day, and we are going to discuss the wonderful river dolphin or hihu, which is the national aquatic animal, also the state aquatic animal. For the discussion, we have with us Dr. Abdul Wakid, who is a known dolphin conservation scientist who has been working for decades in pan-India landscapes, especially in the Ganges and the Brahmaputra river system. Right now we are on the bank of the Brahmaputra and we have with us Wakid, and Wakid is now going to tell us about the significance of this wonderful species, wonderful and elusive species called river dolphin.
The Ganges river dolphin, which we locally call as hihu, is a river dolphin species. So in the world currently there are actually 3 river dolphin species, although there was another one, the Chinese or the Yangtze river dolphin, which got extinct. So therefore we have 3 species of river dolphin: the Ganges river dolphin, the Indus river dolphin, and the Amazon river dolphin. So if we see that order Cetacea, so that belongs to 3 groups of animals: the whales, the porpoise, and the dolphins. So in the dolphin group, so there are around 42 species of dolphins. So among them, they are divided into 2 broad categories: river dolphin and marine dolphins. So there are numbers of marine dolphins, but only these 3 species of river dolphins. Among these 3 species, the Ganges river dolphin is one of the most endangered species. So this is an endangered species of river dolphin. Second is that this is that state aquatic animal of Assam. This is also the national aquatic animal of India, as well as this is under Schedule 1 species under Wildlife Protection Act 1972. So therefore it has great recognition from state level to international level, but it is an endangered species.
What is its status regarding the IUCN Red List?
So IUCN, as per the IUCN Red List, this is endangered.
Okay.
So endangered river dolphin species, yes.
So dolphin is very endeared to the people of Assam because it is considered very wonderful, very lovely species. Could you tell us about this? Why people like this species so much? Why it is so endeared to the people of Assam?
Because it's first thing is a dolphin species, and it's very innocent but very intelligent, right? And it lives nearby human settlement, or it lives in nearby the fishing activity or fishermen who is doing the fishing in the Brahmaputra. Okay, and this is also being mentioned in Assamese literature, Assamese folk songs. So everywhere the dolphin as a hue being mentioned. So therefore it's very close to Assamese people. Yeah.
How has been the people's support for this conservation of dolphin? Because they love the species so much.
Yes.
How has been their common people's support towards it?
Yes, so because first thing is that there is a different belief sometimes, because some of the people feel that this is a fish, hihu mas. Many people say, local community says hihu mas. But once we tell this is a dolphin, this is a river dolphin, then they get surprised. And this is what we commonly see in the television, like the marine dolphins, like. So people get surprised to know that another species is here. It's a river dolphin species. So that way people get excited, and it's also very lovely to see the activity of this. The young cubs, they are very adorable, and like that the adults. So there are different types of surfacing activities. So this attract people towards.
Yeah, okay. But then people get surprised that our Brahmaputra also has dolphins.
Yes,
like the sea has some dolphins, our Brahmaputra also has.
Yes. So
and,
that's right.
And from scientific point of view, it is believed that dolphins, in presence of dolphin in a river system, is indicator of the river's health.
Yes.
Do you have to say something about it?
Yes, because this is a top predator of aquatic ecosystem, because in a river like Brahmaputra, there is a top predator, and it has the same role like the tiger in the terrestrial ecosystem. So it has been maintaining the aquatic equilibrium, aquatic ecological equilibrium due to its presence as the top of the aquatic food chain. So therefore it has that ecological significance.
Okay. So as long as dolphins are there in the river system, we can assume that this river's health is ecosystem health is
Yes.
in a good shape, good
Yes.
shape.
So because dolphin, their main food is fish. Okay. So they live on those habitat where there is fish abundant, and that fish, they are mainly dependent on the planktonic growth and other things. So that's entire thing is indicated as a healthy ecosystem. So the presence of dolphins means that plenty of fishes are there. That means there are plenty of food for the fishes. So therefore it actually shows a healthy ecosystem or healthy river ecosystem on that side.
So you have been working for conservation of these wonderful species for decades.
Yes.
How has been your experience in the working in the Brahmaputra river system,
Yes.
in the Ganges, and the people support? How has been any sort of and very enriching experiences?
Yes, because I started in 2000 with my PhD.
Yes.
So initially I was confused to where to do what should be my subject. Then suddenly I came to, I realized that Ganges river dolphin may be a good subject for my PhD. Then I started the PhD and I submitted it in 2005. Then I did, during that PhD time, actually I did in Upper Assam, in a small area of Brahmaputra in Upper Assam. Then once we complete that PhD part, then I planned that we'll do an entire survey in the entire river, the entire Brahmaputra river. That's how it all started. From PhD, during PhD I realized that there are not much work has been done on the river dolphin for the conservation. Therefore there are a really good opportunity for me to work on this. But for that, first thing is that I had to do a detailed survey in the entire river system in Assam to understand what is the population status, because the last survey it was done in 93, 94. Then there's a big gap. So we started in 2005, and in 2005 we did our first Brahmaputra survey. Along with Brahmaputra, we also did the other tributaries like Kulsi, Subansiri, and the other major tributaries of Brahmaputra. Then finally came to know that dolphins are present in Kulsi, Subansiri, and the Brahmaputra mainstream. So once we came to know where are the dolphin hotspots, okay, then we started working with local communities also, because we have already identified the threats, and for addressing those threats, we need to work with the local community. So that's how actually we identified 30 important dolphin hotspots across Brahmaputra.
30.
Yeah, 30. And those hotspots means mainly the river confluences like Dikhomukh, Disangmukh, Jajimukh, then Subansiri confluences along with Chwense River and Kulsi River. And that way we developed a dolphin conservation network. It started working from 2008 onwards. In 2008 we did another survey, and 2011 we constructed our own boat and we started working in the entire river again.
The boat where we are
currently
now.
actually sitting. So then the entire river, then in 2012, 13, then 2016 onwards, Wildlife Institute of India. So together we all working together in the entire river. So that way actually it all started and it's continuing. And along with Brahmaputra, we are also working in Ganges. Besides Ganges, the Ganga mainstream, we are also working with different tributaries of Ganga. And that's how actually our All India Dolphin Survey started in 2021 to 23, and another second phase of survey is going on. So and also I worked in the marine system. I worked as a visiting scientist in US in Gulf of Mexico, which is I think now is the Gulf of America. So I worked there as a visiting scientist, and I also worked in Scotland in Aberdeen University. And we also worked with different experts like Japanese experts and UK expert, US expert. So so along with that we developed the entire system of doing the research and conservation works in Brahmaputra.
So this that means you have been engaged in collaborative research with some foreign experts and all these things.
Yes.
There is exchange of ideas and all these things.
Exchange of ideas.
And what is the level of common people support in those countries where you have worked?
In US, where I worked in Gulf of Mexico, I worked for three months, but in 7 different projects. So one of the project was to monitor the turtle species. Okay. So there I have seen how the local people, they actually participated in the conservation of turtles, turtle nesting monitoring actually. Then another I have seen how the tourist who actually went to the river or not, went to the sea to see the marine dolphins. So they also, that's a citizen science how they actually started. So all those things actually inspired me a lot.
Okay.
So that's how we got the idea for Dolphin Conservation Network and that citizen science. So participation of the local communities.
How has been the dolphin conservation network in our state? How has been active? How has been doing? How it has been doing?
Yes. So it all started in 2007. So initially, as I told you, that initially we identified 30 important sites where dolphin there are a lot of dolphin mortalities. So
this network is basically comprised of volunteers.
Comprised of volunteers and trained volunteers.
Trained volunteers.
So 2 volunteers from each of the site, and we extensively train them because they are basically from the community, local community, local youth.
Then training is focused on what? The handling the dolphin?
How they will monitor the dolphin.
Okay.
So it's a different way, because in Brahmaputra we do the survey using the boat, but at the same time we have another method where one can go in the river bank and monitor the dolphin population nearby. And main thing is that need to monitor if there is any threat or anything, which the local community is very much aware about that. If there is any dolphin accidental entanglement in the net or something, then immediately need to inform the forest department. Then that release of the dolphin, or if there is any carcass or anything, so to be collected by the forest department. So that way they, and also working with the fishermen, because fishermen are they are the major stakeholder for us, because they work closely in the same dolphin habitat, because their target is the fish, dolphin target is also fish. So we need to work very closely with the fishermen, and for that the local community youth, our DCN members, play a very vital role on that.
Okay. Since this species is very popular, very beloved species for people of Assam, and also some people from outside also will be like to have a glimpse of dolphins in our river system. How do you see the tourism potential for this? Because if a dolphin focused tourism can be developed, then the people's involvement will be also more, because they will get the benefit out of that sector. How do you see that any potential?
Yeah, there is a very much potentiality of that. The first thing is that I got the idea when I was working in US and UK. So people are coming, including their children, to watch the dolphin only, because different types of behaviors the dolphin play in different times of the day. And that way, because the Ganges river dolphin is very elusive, right? And we experimented one earlier for a very brief time, dolphin watch. Where actually we bring different, not the tourists actually, say students, we brought to the river. And once they see the dolphin, it's surfacing. Once they focus on the dolphin, then it's entirely a different excitement.
Yes.
Because for a common people, who is going by ferry, and if there is any suddenly dolphin surfacing, it may not be that impact on him. But if someone is particularly aiming for the dolphin to get its a glimpse of that, and once they also come to know about the importance of the dolphins, significance of the dolphins, and how difficult it is to spot them, then it's entirely a different thing. So that way, in some of the sites in Assam, the locally dolphin tourism is growing, and that's what there is a very vast potentiality of dolphin tourism in Assam. But main thing is that we need to be very careful on that, because it's a blind river dolphin, so it entirely depends on echolocation. So a safe distance to observe it, so that type of protocols need to be followed.
You also mentioned about some threats posing to the dolphins nowadays. So what are those threats? Can you highlight those?
Yes. So major threat is the net entanglement, because dolphin is a blind river dolphin. It entirely depends on its echolocation, or which is the sound system. That sonar system sometimes is not effective if there is a monofilament gillnet, monofilament type of gillnet. So, and sometimes dolphin get entangled while trying to capture the fish from, and this is a mammal, so it has to come out to the surface for breath. So if it gets entangled and it gets nervous, then there's a chance of net entanglement. This is a major cause.
Then the species gets suffocated and
there's a possibility of there's that accidental mortality is it's entire, for the entire cetacean species there's a major threat. So that type of threat is also in Assam. Another is the dolphin oil bait fishing. Then habitat degradation. Habitat degradation, yes, so that's we can see that in entire Brahmaputra, dolphins are found in certain habitats only, not in entire river. So therefore, those habitats they prefer for particular region, and if there is a habitat degradation, that they leave those places, right? So that type of things.
For the common people knowledge, can you tell us what is the characteristics of a particular dolphin habitat?
Yes. So the major habitat is the confluence. If there is a tributary joining to Brahmaputra, so that's the major habitat. You will find dolphins nearby.
Why it is so? Because fish
Yes.
availability is.
Yeah, fish availability, because there's a two currents are merging, right? One is from the mainstream Brahmaputra and another is from the tributary. So therefore there is a whirling current.
Okay.
There's a eddy current. So that type of current sometimes create confusion for the fishes,
Okay.
and dolphin gets that opportunity. to
Dolphin
capture
fish
the
on that.
Yes. Second is that the meandering. If there's a deep meander and shallow pools on the other side, so that type of habitat, and downstream of Mitchellan Island, because in Brahmaputra is a braided river. So therefore, if there's a island, and the downstream of the island is again creating a same river geomorphology like the confluences.
Okay.
So therefore, those type of habitats are preferred, but the confluence are very important.
You also we know that some fishermen used to use the dolphin oil for fishing and all this. How has the practice gone down nowadays after the awareness campaigns? So many awareness campaigns been gone out.
Yeah, we earlier we experimented a lot. We provided alternate to them. So there are different types of efforts on that. So it's being reduced, but still it is sometimes there is a we get the news that sometimes these things are going on, and it's across the Ganga and Brahmaputra. That intensity is definitely going down, but it need to be completely prevented. One thing I need to clear that the dolphin oil, it has that like it's the same superstition like this thing rhino horn, because it has no medicinal value. It has no attractant, so it is all practice. So it's by tradition, by superstition is going on. So there is no special this thing characteristic of dolphin oil. So therefore, this type of activity needs to be prevented. Yeah.
You started this conservation efforts and all these things. You started your career at Aaranyak.
Yes.
It was you who started the dolphin conservation division in Aaranyak.
Yeah.
What was the motivation behind that?
Yeah, it was that really happened almost 20 years back. So once I completed my PhD, so in 2005, then I came to Aaranyak. So during that time, Aaranyak is a whole young group of people, and we had all different ideas that what we should do. So someone is working on elephant, someone on rhino. So then I thought that we'll continue with this dolphin. So the Ganges, the Gangetic Dolphin Research and Conservation program or division started like that. And after that, we applied for different grants. We appeared different international competition. So got funding support, and that way we started, and new people joining with us. So team grow, and that way actually we started the entire division, and different collaborators also participated with us, and it became a full-fledged dolphin division there. Yeah.
How did this boat came into being?
Yeah, it was because earlier we used to hire different boats. In our 2005 survey, 2008 survey, we hired different local boats. And the main thing is that main issue is that local boats, they don't want to go beyond a certain stretch due to the security issues or boat issues, different thing. And although earlier we believed that once we hired a boat from Sadia, it will go up to Dhubri. Okay, yes. But the people, they don't want to go that way. Second is that we had the uncertainty where to stay, because there's no facilities that time. Therefore, it came to my mind that why not we build our own boat, and that way it all started. And finally we started off constructing the boat in 2009 onwards, 2011 April onwards. This boat become functional, and it is still functioning very well. And this is the only large dedicated to river dolphin conservation boat in India.
Only boat?
Only boat.
So its contribution has been instrumental?
Yes, its contribution is immense, because what I can tell you that in our 2021-23 under the Project Dolphin, which was declared by Honorable Prime Minister in 2020 15 August from Lal Killa, under the Project Dolphin we did our first All India Dolphin Survey. The All India Dolphin Survey depended on different survey methodology, because for large river there's a different method of dolphin survey. For medium-sized river, it's a different type of, and smaller river, different size. For the large river, so we experimented a lot of survey method using this boat.
Okay.
So earlier we used our single observer method, then gradually we shifted double observer method. In this boat you will see that we have two platforms, upper platform, lower platform. So we put two observer teams. At the same time we also put the hydrophones. All this hydrophone experimental works were done here only. Then that all this methodological, so we did a lot of experiments in Brahmaputra river with this boat. And along with that, for collecting different types of collecting different types of water quality parameters, then as well as also for conservation, because this boat has been used for conducting community meetings, then the training for the forest officials, training of the researchers. So a lot of activities have been done using this boat. So that's what is a very big contribution for the conservation of dolphins.
So seeing that the rapid development taking place along the Brahmaputra banks and along the river also for transportation and all this,
Yes.
how has been it for effect for the dolphin population? What is the sort of population status?
So currently there are 635 or so Ganges river dolphin in Brahmaputra, and in entire river, entire India, it's 6,324 as per our report published in 2025, All India Dolphin Survey report. So that 635 in Brahmaputra, the large river, it's very significant for us because it's a very large river, but comparison to the larger system, ecosystem, it should be more. So because the dolphin, they are particularly vulnerable for, because it uses echolocation, it entirely depends on sound system. So if we do developmental activities which have underwater noise production, for example, if we see a budbuti, so what we hear, its noise surface in the surface water, it amplified by 5 times.
5 times
underneath
the water.
Underwater.
Okay.
So that type of noise is being created underwater. So therefore it affects the dolphin. Also, although the dolphin, they produce very high frequency sound from 23 kilohertz to almost 170 kilohertz of sound, which is beyond human audible range. But this type of different types of instrumental or equipment sound or man-made noise, it may affect the dolphin. So therefore, if there is any developmental works being planned in the river, we first need to think about the dolphin.
Especially the hotspots.
Especially in the hotspot, because dolphin depends entirely on the echolocation. If those human produced sounds affects its echolocation, then it will affect the entire population.
Is there any map of those hotspots in the popular domain so that people get to know that these are the dolphin hotspots?
Yes.
So we should stay away from all these things.
Yeah. So those hotspots being mentioned in our report in which was published in 2025 by Wildlife Institute of India and MOEFCC. So in that report, the hotspot is being mentioned, and also if someone contact us, if there is any, where are the hotspots, we can also tell that these are the main hotspots need to be avoided.
Wakid, do you have any appeal to our viewers who also want to contribute towards conservation of dolphin? How they can help it?
Yes. So yeah, thank you for that, because it's a very good platform to speak about that. So for example, this is the time, this is the breeding season for dolphin.
Okay.
So the newborn calves, you will see after once there's a flood or high water in Brahmaputra.
But
so
especially particularly, can you mention what is the specific breeding season, like months,
Yes.
like English month?
So the breeding season starts from second part of January.
Okay.
In the mainstream Brahmaputra. Okay, and it in the pre-monsoon season the numbers are more, and it continues up to mid-July.
July. Okay.
Mid-July. So during that time, the dolphin, both the dolphin calves and mother, they are vulnerable because the echolocation is not developed in the calves. Therefore, we need to be very careful if there is a dolphin calf in the nearby area, or if there is a mother with the calf. Okay. So, and second thing is that monitoring of the dolphin. If there are dolphins, if there are nets, so local people, how they help in that, mainly pass the information to the fishermen. Okay, because in Brahmaputra, that's a major net entanglement threat is there. So we need to be careful that dolphin, they don't get entangled with the fishing net. and there is no other mortalities. So that way, because in the Brahmaputra, if you see, we see the dolphin in particular hotspot only. So those hotspot only the local community can protect in collaboration with the State Forest Department and Police Department. So that way, yeah.
Dr. Wakid, can you tell us what is the sort of volume of the dolphin conservation scientists in the country now? Is it growing? Is it growing? Any more young biologists are coming towards the conservation efforts? Can you tell us?
Yes.
How does it hold as a career for them?
So we have a really young researchers team with us. So and earlier we struggled with to get the researchers or the conservation biologists with us, but nowadays the young MSc students, they are joining with us. The different, because the career can be done by both by the biologist or the one who are doing their MScs in geology, botany or life science, but along with that there are conservation aspect also. So working with the community, working with the fishermen, and working with on different aspect of the both conservation and the research of the, because it's a very least known species. So we have lot of scope for that. So therefore the young researchers or the young students, they can pursue their career in the conservation, in the research of the Ganges river dolphin. So because if we go to if we want to conserve the dolphin, we have to conserve the ecosystem, river ecosystem. The river ecosystem comprises of all different things, the plankton, the water quality, then that fishes, then the other associated animal like otter, turtle. So these are all integrated. Therefore, if someone is planning to conduct his or her research work or the conservation of the dolphin, then there is a very good scope for this.
And there is also scope for working for the community also.
Yes.
And those students not necessarily should be from the background of biology. They can come from the sociology background
from
also.
the sociology and also our community network, because many of them are only class 10 passed or 12 passed. Okay. So we have those methods how they can contribute to the conservation, because it's a regular monitoring, working with the local communities. So all different types of things are there. It's not necessarily that only MSc, BSc students can join. So anyone who is interested. Yeah.
Regards to the career for the young scientists in this dolphin conservation efforts, how the young women researchers are coming to this field?
So that's really interesting even for us, because till 2012-13, so there are two researchers, so girls, so they were working with us. So but after that, from 2016 onwards, many girl researchers, young women from Wildlife Institute of India, so worked with us or have been working with us as a researchers, not only as a researchers, for different conservation activities also. You will be surprised to know that many of these girls researchers, so they stay in our booth and conduct the Brahmaputra anti-Brahmaputra survey from Saria to Dhubri. So using this boat as a home. So that means it's an indication that how safe Assam is for Assam or the Brahmaputra for the girls, because once during our survey, what is our main protocol is that we normally don't change our observers, because it will always otherwise give biased result if we frequently change our observers. Therefore the same team, they normally continue from Saria to Dhubri, and that way 8 to 10 girls worked with us.
And so those girls are from across the country? Or
from across the country. Someone from Kerala, someone from Tamil Nadu, someone from Uttarakhand, UP, and there are Assamese girls also. And that way the entire girls and boys and our both staff, they all work as a family during the survey. And you will be surprised to see the strength of these youths and how they perform, because it's not very easy to conduct the survey in the entire Brahmaputra, because we normally start our survey from morning 8 a.m. and up to 4 p.m. And there may be a brief break in between and continuing. And even during some of our research works, we work with the fishermen in the night time, because the fishermen fishing in Brahmaputra in the night time. So the girls need to work with those fishermen, and they work very safely with them, because that's how we are collaborating with the fishermen also, and fishermen are that much supportive to us. So that's entirely an exciting face.
Yeah, that
So
must be a very wonderful experience for the
that's
researchers.
entirely wonderful. And how these girls are working in Brahmaputra. They also work in Ganga also, but in Brahmaputra it's entirely different.
They like it, but like the Brahmaputra more or Ganga more?
Yes, they feel the boat as a home.
Okay.
And once they come to the boat to conduct this survey, because when I first get that big group to work in Assam, so I initially was thinking that to start with them, then send the team to that all the boys. Then they rejected. They said they want to go up to Bangladesh border. So
Okay.
that's how it all started. Although initially it was a tension for me, but finally I found, and they are the very serious researchers.
Okay.
They don't miss any dolphin. So they are very anyway. The girls are always very serious in their sincere in their works, and these girls are most sincere in their works.
So, Wakid, thank you very much for sharing so many wonderful information with us, with our viewers today.
Thank you.
And as we sit on this boat, we feel very deeply connected to this river.
Yes.
And its wonderful biodiversity. And the viewers, for the viewers, it should send a message like that. If anyone contributes in a very small way to conservation of this wonderful species, as you have known that we are left with only 600 plus dolphins in such a big river system. So everybody's contribution is much needed for this purpose. And so it's time to say take leave from you for this till next time. Thank you very much. Thank you, Wakid. Once again, thank you very much.
Thank you.